Today I figured I'd give you guys a ranking of the Dirty Harry films from worst to best. This was a cop franchise starring Clint Eastwood as Harry Callahan. That was released from 1971 all the way to 1988. There are 5 films in this franchise, and it is truly awesome. If you want to see a really good and intense, gritty series, I recommend getting into this one if you haven't seen it already. But without further ado, I'll give you my ranking from worst to best. First off, starting off our list, in 5th place would be 1976's The Enforcer. This film is not bad, but it has some problems here and there. For one, the soundtrack is not good. It's the only one that Schifrin did not do the soundtrack for, and it shows. Lots of long jazz numbers, really just grating music on the nerves. But the film does have some good stuff going for it. Tim Daly plays Harry's female partner in the movie, and it's the only time he has a female partner, and she's actually pretty good in the film. It also has some decent villains, who are these group of terrorists trying to ransom money from the city, and Harry must stop them. A really intense and fun movie, but it does have the most flaws of the franchise, I'd have to say. But I still recommend it. 1976's The Enforcer. Which leads me to number 4. 1988's The Deadpool. Not to be confused with a Ryan Reynolds movie, The Deadpool features Harry stopping a serial killer, much like the original Dirty Harry film. This film feels like they were trying to get back to the roots of this franchise, but it also feels a little bit over the top. It does have some good performances. Jim Carrey's actually in the film as a drug-addicted actor. And it has a soundtrack by Guns N' Roses, who's also in the film briefly. Not a bad film, just a little over the top and a little too 80s. Which brings me to number 3, 1983's Sudden Impact. This film is very enjoyable. It has a vigilante going around murdering these just scummy guys. These group of punks who are basically going around murdering and raping people. And this woman's getting her revenge, all while Harry's trying to solve the mystery and find out who this person is and also stop the gang from wreaking any more havoc. This is the first and only film in the series directed by Clint Eastwood, and it was actually the most successful at the box office. This film was really awesome, has a really great soundtrack, and it features Clint Eastwood with an automatic 44. Definitely worth checking out. Which leads me to number 2, 1973's Magnum Force. This film features a group of rogue cops who are going around murdering other killers, robbers, pimps, you name it. Any kind of low-life scumbag, these cops are killing in cold blood. But obviously Harry can't have that, and even though Harry does follow his own rules, he can't break the rules to that extent, and he has to take them down. This is probably one of the best cop movies out there, a great soundtrack, and you're actually conflicted about if you should root for Harry or the Magnum Force, which is the name of the group the cops take on. It's a very fun and awesome sequel, and one that I highly recommend. Which leads me to number 1, 1971's Dirty Harry. This film is awesome. It has awesome action, a great soundtrack by Schifrin, who would do the soundtrack for the rest of the series, except for 3, but the less said about that, the better. And it has an amazing performance by Andy Robinson as the Scorpio Killer, who is a sniper who is holding the city for ransom, essentially saying to the government that if they don't pay him, he'll kill more people. And Harry must use his wits and his abilities as a detective to stop him. Just a really awesome film. Really grungy, really 70s. Amazing soundtrack. There's nothing not to love about this film. It's absolutely Clint Eastwood's best, I would say. And it has just everything about it's amazing. There's not one bad performance in the movie. The dialogue is great. The soundtrack is great. The flow is awesome. It's just perfect. Get in, get out. It's just under 2 hours, but man, it's a blast from start to finish. I absolutely love this film, and I recommend it to anybody who loves good cinema. Well, that's my ranking. Hopefully, they release this series on 4K at some point, because this is a series that I absolutely love. And if you have streaming services, these films actually are available on, I think, a few of them. So I recommend this. If you haven't seen this franchise, I absolutely recommend it. You can't go wrong with Dirty Harry. It's a badass cop franchise, and to me personally anyway, Clint Eastwood's absolute best. Well, thanks for watching. Leave your list down below, and peace out.